In milestone 1, we ended by pushing the completed fiberglass flotation devices for the Coconest into the water. And also we were just about 60 to 70% complete with the L that was foundational to holding the fish farm, coral farm, and also bracing the Coconest. Now, once we received the fund from Milestone 2, we had to build 4 custom anchors. And also we purchased a lot of material, mostly for the platform construction, which includes blue bins, the composite flooring, and its systems, including the stainless steel screws and its T. And also we had to purchase some steel, and our steel guys, they bent it to be, the circumference of the dome. And what we're going to do, or what we did, was we wrapped the fiberglass around it. So essentially it's a mold, and we'll use the steel as the mold. Now, right away, the materials came. We unloaded it from the truck. We brought it onto the platform, and we started to install the L that we were framing for in milestone 1. And what we did was the L is the width of the deck is 6 feet. The composite came in 10 feet. So we cut 6 feet and we had 4 feet balance. And we saved the 4 feet pieces and we put it to the side, which we later used to install the remaining fish farm platforms. Now we have two essentially teams. We have a fiber team, and we also have a general construction team. The fiber team, these guys are focusing on the wrapping of the fiberglass around these molds. They can do just about 4 a day. And the process is they would wrap one layer of fiberglass rough mat and then wait in 2 hours for it to dry. Once it's dried, they would wrap another layer of the mat, wait for that to dry 2 hours, and then they would peel it off. And what happens is they would then infill the inside with foam, and they put the cement because the resin would eat the foam if we didn't have a layer of something that was not corrosive to touching, that material. So they put the one layer of cement, and then they're able to wrap and basically enclose the structure member. In any given day, they're able to do 3, maybe 4, and we're looking at 36 structures. So that process took a long time, but it's very critical the way that we did it right, and we did it in a high quality way. We didn't take any shortcuts. Next, the second team, which will be the general construction, we focus on the construction of the platform. And we went out and got some really thick rope. So we got like rolls and rolls of just giant rope, which should last um, at least a decade. Like this rope is really sturdy. And that rope is going to be used to tie to our anchors, which is going to anchor the cocoa nest and other platforms. After we purchased the rope, we put it to the side. Now we made a critical design change. Originally the floats were the long slide of the fiber floats were facing the highway, and so when the wave hit it, it would have more surface area that would potentially just make the platform just move a bit more than we wanted to. So we rotated it, and because we built the fiberglass float to be pointy on either side, and it breaks up the wave so that it eats some of the impact, and then it's not hitting the long surface area. And with that change, we then started framing immediately. We did the framing, and then we built the flooring, which we raised the bedroom area compared to the restroom area. The restroom area is lower, so we had to do 2 layers of wood framing on that on the main in the rest of the bedroom area, and then the bathroom area we lowered it so that the water can drain out without getting into the bedroom space. And then we covered the floor with a 1/2 inch thick cement board. We're going to eventually coat it with waterproof paint and waterproofing and everything else. And then once we did that, we also built these gutters, almost like gutters. So around the platform out of fiberglass. So the first layer at the top is going to be essentially like a stud that holds the framing fiberglass framing structure that the fiber team is building, and then the lower one is essentially a gutter to collect rainwater. We're essentially preparing for the water system. It's just going to go into a rainwater tank, which we built custom out of fiberglass. And then we'll also have a tank for collecting the gray water, and also that would come out of, after you shower, it would collect into there, shower or wash your hands in the sink. And also we'll have a black water tank, and we'll have like a septic pump, and it will pump to the mainland. Now, with the circumference and the flooring of the dome built, we then went back to the rope and anchor, and we're now ready to anchor the coconuts. So we tied the anchor and to the rope, and we tied the rope to the coconut platform, and we threw it into the water. There were four of them. Once the anchors are in, we started assembling the platform decks. At this point, the framing at the bottom is complete. Now, with the L and a portion of the coconut deck constructed, we took some of the completed fiberglass framing, and we assembled it. We assembled four in the beginning, and we had to use staging so that we can hold the frame together. At this point, as the fiber team were continuing to work on the structural ribs, the general construction team moved to the next phase, the next two scope. The big scope is the fish farm construction, which we moved from phase 5, a later phase of the project. We moved it in because we needed it to just make the entire platform a bit stronger, because it was really run down and the fish farm nets and everything were falling apart. And what we did was we first demoed the entire existing platform and the blue bins. We cleaned the bins, and the way we built the fish farm boxes is we built a 4-foot perimeter around an entire fish farm. So it would be a separate structure, essentially, not directly tied to the L that we built. So it would float and sink on its own, especially as the nets get heavy. It doesn't want to be anchored to the L so that it drags the L down, and then it kind of ruins some of the wood. And we needed to also add a walkway, which we built 6 foot through the middle, and the intermediary walkway that would break up the fish farm into 6 different boxes were also 4 feet. Now, with that, we continued to build the farm, and we started to also work on getting the nets that we would eventually tie into the fish farm, and also prepare the squares for the coral farming, the coral nursery component of the project. Once we finished the fish farm, actually in parallel, we were also working on, the general construction team was working on completing demoing the existing kitchen area and building the storage and reception area. That was critical because we needed to really, clean up the space, and so we needed a large space, like a storage space, to put some materials that we could reuse in the future, and also we needed a storefront, a place where customers are greeted by our staff, and when we start to work on operation. So that was really important. So we built an all-white perimeter exterior design, with 2 window openings, one to register people who are interested in doing the activity. So we have paddleboarding and kayaking, and we have the other one to check folks in who are staying at the Coco Nest, and also we have a component called Coco Camp. Now, with that, we made everything white because we wanted people from far away to see um, the pristineness of that we did, and to see that we're upkeeping. And by ensuring that it's always going to be white, we'll continue to paint it as it gets run down to make sure that it'll never be grayed or anything like that, to show people that we're upkeeping, kind of like the way hotels use white linens to show that it's clean. So that was very important design decision. And once we finished all that, we also added a little bit of space in the back of the storage area, which will be completely waterproof. Uh, that's where the um, electrical and solar system, battery, and everything going to be stored. So that's why it really needed to be waterproof. And we also added these structural members to brace the roof above. So in preparation for the solar panels that we are planning to install. And with that, we covered um, using 4-inch wood planks to make it look and feel like a finished space in front of the reception area. While this was all happening, our fiber team took a quick break from working on the structural ribs. They still at this point have about 4 to 6 left, so a few days worth of work. And they wrapped the perimeter of the coconut deck as a trim, and we ended up painting it kind of like a beigeish color. The trim just essentially ensures that the composite flooring is not, doesn't move and it stays in its place. And you can see that we have at the end an opening in the floor. That's where the net is going to be. The net where the kind of the Bali inspired net where people staying at the coconuts can go and lay down. And this is my little DIY project. I want to make sure that because this is going to be the kind of social media share, the image that people are going to share, I wanted to make sure that it was done with high quality and care. So that's why I took on this scope. Now, with the reception area complete, the trim at the Coconut platform essentially complete, uh, we have also completed the structural ribs. And so we assembled all of them onto the Coconut platform. And with that, our fiber team is no longer using that platform where they were doing the work. And so we have started to clean it up. What we're going to do is we're going to just do a deep clean and stain it, a natural stain. It's going to come out dark. The wood is already dark. So the dark flooring and the white contrast is going to really make the space stand out. And the next focus is to essentially wrap the entire dome. The dome is going to be wrapped essentially 3 times with fiber to ensure its rigidity. We're also going to add horizontal um, cross bracing to ensure that the ribs are not moving laterally. This work is going to take about 3 weeks just to wrap the exterior. And then we have our Rumbia guy who will install the Rumbia leaf system outside on the exterior as our general construction team will work on the inside. They'll start building the partition behind the bed and the toilet room walls. And then we'll have our toilet room installer come in and finish their work, which is going to take they said that they will take about a week worth of work. So we're really looking at about a month and a half, plus or minus, before the entire project is complete.